It was a cold and blustery March 17th morning when Finbar O'Feces Beatty awoke, with a smile on his face that comes from knowing his entire day would be filled with liquor, alcohol, beer, and corned beef. He had carefully planned his day out as he does every St. Feces day, and he was smug in the knowledge that in only half an hour he'd be drunk and obnoxious like every Irishman should be on this holy day. He quickly dressed, grabbed 4 bottles of Jameson's, 12 bottles of Guinness, a case of Harp, a sack of potatoes, and a bar of Irish Spring, and ran out to his car. He paused for a minute. He wondered if his Irish buddies would be upset with him for driving a German car on this day of Irish celebrating. But then he decided he didn't give a crap, and off he went. He roared out of his driveway and headed towards the highway. Before heading downtown, though, he realized he was light on supplies, so he stopped by the state liquor store to stock up. 6 more bottles of Jameson's, 3 cases of cold beer any kind, a box of condoms, and a blow pop for obvious reasons. Now fully loaded double-meaning, O'Feces went downtown to meet his decrepit, Irish, drunken friends. It was only 7:30 am, but already Finbar was drunker than a dozen sailors on shore leave. His car swerved and lurched all over the road. He finally made it downtown, and parked on the sidewalk on Superior Avenue. He stumbled out of his car, grabbed all his supplies, and headed off towards the parade route. O'Feces didn't notice the cop putting the ticket on his car and calling for a tow truck. "Who be flippin' same caddies DUH?" he yelled at the top of his lungs. Finbar was in his element now. Filled with cheap liquor and surrounded with the scum of the earth, he felt content and at peace. As he was surveying the scene, he suddenly became aware of a truly horrible and disgusting smell. What was that smell? Slowly his mind ruled out what it couldn't be. It wasn't his sister's crotch. It wasn't a dead skunk under the couch. It wasn't the Cleveland sewage treatment plant. Slowly, very slowly he realized what had happened. In his extreme drunkenness, he apparently lost control of his bowels, and had let loose with a disgusting torrent of liquid feces which ran over his legs and shoes. He debated what he should do. He could stay and pretend it didn't happen, but even Finbar realized that wasn't possible. If his liquid feces at least tasted good, he may have been willing to give it a try. But as it stood, he felt it best to go home and change into some fresh clothes. He'd earned several times before aiming himself in the correct direction to get to his car, and when he got there he found nothing but an empty parking space. The cop had towed his car. He stood there for a moment and considered his options. Try to find a cop, or stay there and drink. Surprisingly, he decided to stay and watch the parade and drink. There were quite a few people around now, getting ready for the parade. Finbar decided to go back to his favorite parade-watching spot. But suddenly everything started spinning. The last words heard from him were the opening line of the Irish national anthem, then down he went. Hard. Right onto the cold slushy sidewalk, among the feet of hundreds of other partiers, out like a light. As he lay there with a stupid smile on his face, his pants and shoes covered in his own liquid feces, he began to vomit. And a couple minutes later, his bladder and bowels let loose again. People in the crowd began taking Finbar's stuff out of his bag. Pretty soon, all he had left was the Irish Spring and 2 condoms. The crowd just left him laying there in his own disgusting wastes. An angry pack of homeless men found him and dragged his lifeless body into an alley where they repeatedly raped him. When they were done, they took all his clothes and shoved an empty beer bottle up his rectum. Thank God O'Feces was passed out. But through it all, Finbar kept his goofy drunken smile. All of Finbar's planning and hard work resulted in this. Drunkenness, anal invasions, liquid feces, all of life's pleasures experienced in a single 2-hour period. Yes, Finbar had another happy St. Feces day. There's a lesson here for all of us. No matter what people say to you, no matter what the medical establishment says, the truth of the matter is this: you can't drink too much. Happy St. Feces Day.